guys, it's me, Abby. I'm very close. Let's back it up. I know I saw my Christmas tree up. I never had the energy to put it down. So she's here in the background. Sorry. I need more highlight. Yeah, that's... We need more highlight up in here. Ooh. Ooh, yes. Do you see that shit? Do you see that shit? So I know my hair is a little poofy. My makeup looks a little crusty. I just got back from work like almost an hour ago. So I look very sweaty. I had like a 10-hour shift. So I'm I'm busted. I just wanted to do this video because yesterday, or like last night, I had a little talk with my dad and we were just talking about random shit, you know, father-daughter stuff, and I was like, you know what? There's been so many things that I've learned so far this year and like in high school in general, and I just want to do a little video about it, spread my knowledge, spread my wisdom. You know what? My bras in the background are just very obnoxious. And I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna do a 15 things I wish I knew at 15, and I was only 15 like 2.5 years ago. That's not a very long period of time, but like for me and for like kids and like teenagers, like it's kind of a long time, and I feel like I've learned so much in that short period of time. This video might be a little deep, it might be a little emotional. I'm not gonna cry, but like also like keep in mind that there are some of these things that I'm still working on and still I haven't necessarily perfected. First thing, everyone you meet is not supposed to stay in your life. You know, we all have those old friends and like ex-boyfriends, ex-girlfriends. There are some people who you stick with for a lifetime, and then there are people who, you know, maybe are there for a month or 6 months or a year or like 10 years. Like, you never know what's gonna happen. Any kind of situation that you're in with whatever relationship it is, not everyone is supposed to be in there, and you shouldn't force people to stay in your life, and you shouldn't hold on to the people that maybe don't deserve you or shouldn't be in your life, because you're just kind of wasting your time. But it's easier said than done. It's really hard to let go of people that made such an impact in your life and that you don't want to let go of the memories. I really get that. I totally get that. But that's just something I realized, that there are so many people you're gonna meet and only a small handful are really gonna stick with you for all of your life, and you just kind of need to remember that so you don't get hung up on one person. Number 2, shit happens. Shit happens. That's just something that like I always say. Like if something bad happens, I'm like, well, shit happens, because life is very unfair and no one lives a perfect, positive, amazing life. Like, yeah, you can live your life to the fullest, you can have a great life, but there's always going to be some kind of obstacle, there's always going to be some kind of problem and conflict, and like, everyone goes through something, everyone is going through something, whether it's really minor or if it's really major or right in the middle. Things are never going to go, or they're not always going to go the way you want it to. And it kind of took me a long time to realize that, you know, I'm still kind of accepting the fact that life isn't my friend all the time, and it's kind of hard to accept because, you know, you want oh so desperately for things to just go your way, and if it doesn't, it like pisses you off. You have to kind of go with the flow and just remember that there's always going to be a solution and you're always going to get out of it. Life is always testing you, and that's how I look at negative things that happen to me, is that life is just testing me, and once, like years and years from now, it's gonna all be worth it. Don't let things get to you, because that's when you kind of start to go a little downhill. Number 3, sometimes there are things that need to be said, but sometimes there are things that don't need to be said. And in other words, I mean, like, sometimes you have to open your mouth, and sometimes there are things that you just shouldn't say. I feel like I would sometimes want to say something, but I'd be too scared to, or maybe I said something that I probably shouldn't have said. When I'm angry, I tend to like seclude myself, and I want to be alone, and I want to just kind of let the anger sit there for a little bit. But if I really like lash out, I'm so ruthless to people, and I like hit their like uncomfortable spots, and I push their buttons, and I just kind of make the problem worse. And that is something that I am currently working on. I just jab people, and I hate that I do that, and there are just some things that I just shouldn't say. Recently I've been trying to think of, what if you're talking to yourself? Like, how would you want yourself to talk to yourself? Just think about it. You just have to think about what you're saying before saying it, because you don't know how it's going to impact a person. You don't know how it's gonna all, like the consequences of what you say. And then also there are things that should be said, you know, like I feel like some people hold back a lot of their thoughts and ideas because they're scared of people's disapproval, or they're afraid of embarrassing themselves, or think it's stupid. Like there's so many reasons why people keep their mouths shut. I'm starting to learn that balance between speaking my mind but also kind of holding myself back. I think it's really important for people to understand the difference. Number 4, things take time, and time heals everything. It's hard to say because, you know, let's say a loved one dies and 10 years from then you're still so heartbroken about it. Of course, some things like that are just never gonna go away, but it gets better. Things always get better through time, and it took me a while to understand this, and because I'm such an impatient person, I just wanted things to be okay right away, and I wanted things to be back to normal. You know, with breakups, like if you are just devastated about a breakup and you think that it's never gonna get better, and you think like, man, like I'm always gonna be in this rut, I'm never gonna be able to get out of it. But trust me, like you just have to let yourself heal and let time do its justice. Also need to just allow yourself to heal. It's not just waiting around, but it's also like letting yourself heal and allowing yourself to when it's necessary. And I really had to do that last year, and just in general, like some things just hurt you and some things make you angry, and you just need to let time just do its thing. Number 5, this is something that I have a really hard time with, but it's something that I keep in mind all the time, that it is okay to make mistakes. It is perfectly okay, especially when you're a kid or a teenager, but even in your adulthood, even if you're a senior citizen, everybody makes mistakes. And that is like super cheesy, super cliche, like everyone tells you that, but it's so true. Every person on this planet has made a bunch of mistakes, and that's just how it is, and we can't do anything about it. And I wish I could be a perfect person, I wish I could do everything right, and I wish I couldn't disappoint people, and I wish I couldn't disappoint myself. Not everybody can live up to other people's expectations and your own expectations. That's just the way it is. You shouldn't set your standards so high, and if you don't meet them, beat yourself up about it. And I do that all the time. I set these high expectations and standards for myself, and if I don't meet them, I'm like so upset. I let it ruin my day, and it's just, I shouldn't do that, and I'm really working on it, and it honestly makes you a much happier person if you just let yourself make mistakes. Number 6, you need to let yourself feel emotions. This is something that, again, took me a while to understand, but I used to shove all my emotions down, and I wouldn't tell people about my emotions, and I would just kind of keep it bottled up, and then out of nowhere it would explode in my face, and I hated the spontaneity of random emotions coming out of nowhere. And so I've gotten way better at just letting myself be sad, or letting myself be angry, or letting myself be happy. Just letting yourself feel positive or negative emotions, because otherwise it's just gonna get real deep down there. And of course no one wants to be sad and angry, but you're not gonna be happy all the time, and that's just how life works. Things are thrown at you and you feel upset or you feel sad. And for example, if you get angry over something that's maybe really stupid, probably unnecessary to be mad at, just let yourself be mad. Just be like, you know what, this is stupid, but I'm mad, and I'm just gonna let myself be mad, because that's just the way it is, that's just how I reacted, that's just how my emotions work. If life is picking up and you're like, oh, like what if it's gonna like go downhill, like what if this happiness isn't gonna last that much longer? Let yourself be happy, let yourself enjoy life, let yourself feel that positive emotion, and you're gonna be so much more in tune with yourself and who you are and your emotions and how you can handle your emotions. And that's just, again, something that I took really into account this past year. This is something that people struggle with every single day, and it's definitely something that I think is one of the hardest things to really grasp onto and understand. But you cannot care about what other people think. Like, all these things are such cliche things, but like it's different when you apply it to your own life and you're just like, wow, that actually really improved myself. But I cared about people's opinions a lot, and it would ruin me. And even when I thought I didn't care, like I knew I cared. And of course everyone cares at least a little bit, and maybe a lot, maybe not at all, like who knows, but like you do have to care to a certain extent. What I mean is, you know, you don't have to care about people's negative opinions and unnecessary comments or the judgments, because at the end of the day, it's you, it's your body, it's your life, it's your choices, your decisions, your lifestyle, whatever people are judging you for, that's just who you are. You can't change it, and if you can change it, don't change it for other people. Change it for yourself if you believe that it should be changed. I am a firm believer in just doing what you want to do and not letting other people get in the way of that, and I have a very free spirit, and sometimes I can piss people off a little bit. People are gonna understand that they can't affect you anymore, and you're gonna be like, and they're gonna be like, oh shit, like I can't really like change her opinion or her mind, so might as well just back the fuck up. It took me so long, and honestly, like this kind of brought a lot of negative consequences, but being compassionate is so important. Being compassionate for your family, being compassionate for your friends, being compassionate for a random stranger, I just feel like is such an important trait, and it's such a positive trait too. Let's say your family's having a bad day and they're kind of yelling at you and they're kind of taking out their anger on you. Yeah, it's not gonna feel good, and no, it's not okay for them to lash out at you, but just remember, think about what they went through that day or what's going on in their mind, and understand their point of view, and that maybe they don't mean it and that they love you. Or with your friends, if they're feeling a certain way but you can't understand really their situation or what they're feeling or what they're saying, just think about being in their shoes and say things that you would want to hear if you were them, and then I kind of take it from there. And with strangers, like ever since I got my job as a banquet server, you know, it's a lot of dealing with customers, dealing with management, dealing with coworkers. I just kind of learned that there's a lot of people out there who struggle every day, and there's a lot of people out there who are angry every day, and there are a lot of people who just live a miserable life and are just trying to make it by and just trying to live their life to the fullest and just trying to do as much as they can for little things like, you know, Misericordia, which is a charity for people who are mentally and physically disabled, and you know, sometimes they walk down the streets with like a cup and like a vest kind of thing, like trying to get money from people, and I always donate to those kinds of things because it's just like $1 or $2 more than they had, and it's just like a little token of, again, compassion and charity. Being compassionate and taking into account of other people's situations it's gonna come back to you in such a positive way, because I firmly believe in karma, and if you do not live out your life helping people but also helping yourself, it's gonna come back to bite you, and you're not gonna have anybody to be there for you. There are some people who don't have anybody, and there are people who are suffering every day, and I want to help people as much as I can. You're not always gonna have the same point of view as someone, and everybody is filled with different opinions and beliefs and point of views, and especially with politics and like social issues and like lifestyle choices, like that is just opinions. They're everywhere in the media, they're everywhere in the society. People let out their opinions every day, sometimes negatively, sometimes positively, but you have to remember that people are not going to think the same way you do, most likely, unless you surround yourself with people like that. If you get into an argument with someone and they are just someone that's just ripping into you and just really trying to convince you of their opinion, you're just like trying to fight back that force, it's not worth it. There's never going to be a time where everybody agrees with you and everybody is on board and everybody understands, because some people just don't have the capability of looking from that person's point of view and at least understanding what they're saying. If you're in an argument with someone about politics or some kind of issue that you're really passionate about, it just goes in one ear out the other and you're not making any progress, and again, it's not worth it. And you shouldn't have to put yourself through that trouble just to try and put your point out there. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be opinionated and you shouldn't let your opinion be out there, but at the same time, you shouldn't let it disintegrate you and like make you feel bad or waste your time or your breath. Number 10, I forgot to say the numbers, I've been forgetting about numbers. Number 10 is to hold on to people and memories. And I know I just mentioned before that you shouldn't hold on to people, but what I mean by this is that if there is someone in your life that has made a huge positive impact on you and makes you happy and is there for you and supports you and is pretty much the perfect package for you, and you want to be around that person, you have to make the effort and you have to just not take them for granted. You need to hang out with them. You need to like try. And again, this is something that I am working on. When you're in a moment, be in the moment. Like, think about where you are, think about the people you're with, think about the music that's playing, think about what's happening, and you're gonna appreciate it so much more. And then you're gonna look back and be like, I really did absorb that moment. I don't necessarily want to go back to it, but I'm super happy that it did happen. And again, I'm kind of including a lot of cheesy Tumblr quotes in this video, but when you really think about it, like, those cheesy quotes, those cliche quotes are cliche for a reason, because they're true. You have to still make the effort, no matter what point in the relationship you're in, because people come and go, and that's just how it is, and memories come and go. Okay, 11. This is kind of relating to the last part, but number 11 is showing someone that you love them in any way possible. And personally for me, I'm not a very verbal, affectionate person. I feel like I'm more physically, although I have my moments, I don't know, it kind of goes back and forth, but mostly I have a hard time with saying I love you or like complimenting them, or, you know, it's hard for me for some reason to just really put my emotions out there and just be super cheesy and like with a full paragraph. I'm physically affectionate in the way that I do things for people, and when I really care, I make the time and I will spend extra money on you, or I'll ask to hang out with you a lot. Like, that's just how I am. You should always remind someone that you love them, and you should always remind someone how much you appreciate them. And it's just gonna make your bond so much stronger too, no matter who it's with, a friend, a family member, a significant other, literally anybody, because sometimes people just need that extra reassurance, and you can't disregard that. If you're with that person and you're with them through and through, then you have to respect their way of like knowing how you love them, if that makes any sense. So number 12 is to stick to your opinions and your beliefs. And then again, this is kind of relating to the other thing. Sometimes people do things or say things or think things because it's acceptable to other people, even when it's something that you don't believe in or you don't want to do. You should always stick to what you believe in. I believe that abortion should be legal in all 50 states no matter the circumstance. That's just a lot of like social, political issues that are very controversial, but also just, you know, maybe you believe in not having sex till marriage. Whatever it is that you believe in, that you are like stuck onto, stick with it, because it's gonna make yourself feel more true to who you are, and you're gonna figure yourself out way faster. People are gonna try and convince you otherwise and try and be like, oh, well, your opinion's dumb, like it's stupid, like blah blah blah. Trust me, there are a lot of opinions I've heard from people that I'm like, you are the dumbest person. But with all that being said, you should always stick to what you believe in, but also appreciate and understand what other people have to say if it's the opposite opinion. Number 13, you are worth so much more than you think. And you know, this doesn't apply to everybody. Some people have higher self-esteem than other people. Like, I would say I have a pretty high self-esteem, which definitely did not just come out of nowhere. I had to work for it. But my point is that some people think that they don't have a purpose. Some people think they're not worth anything. Some people think that they're just not good enough for people or good enough for themselves. But let me tell you right now, I am not a very religious person. I never grew up religious. I never really practiced anything. I never really went to church unless I was like really little and I didn't really have a choice. Of course, I respect religions. I respect people's beliefs. I believe that people were put on this earth for some kind of reason. Even if it's a negative purpose or negative reason, they've had some kind of impact in the world. It's a really hard thing to understand, to grasp right away. That's not something you can just wake up in the morning, one random ass Tuesday morning, and be like, you know what? I am worth it. It's something that takes a long time, and it's a process, and that's okay. Don't ever let people or let yourself beat you down and make you feel less worth than you are. Okay, number 14. So I really didn't start doing this maybe until beginning of sophomore year, but I have been becoming way more aware of what's going on around me in the world, nationally, globally, locally. I never really watched the news. I never really read articles about, you know, world news, like what's going on in my country or like what's going on around me. I was just so stuck in my own world and so oblivious to what was going on that I wasn't able to, for people who were very woke, as you could say, I wasn't able to really relate to their conversations. I wasn't able to give my input because I just didn't know what was going on. I get made fun of this a lot. But I do have notification alerts for BuzzFeed, and like BuzzFeed is like social media company, but like they do bring out some articles, and I also find BuzzFeed articles really interesting, and I can like, I don't know, it's just appealing to me, and so I read them. And like I should probably read like a better source, but again, like I just feel like I can easily read BuzzFeed and not get super distracted or like get disinterested. I learn a lot of new things, and I learn a lot about what's going on in the world because they like update you like almost right away because they're always on top of what's going on. I think it's just very important to be aware of what's going on around you because the world does not revolve around you and there is so much going on that we just don't know and that doesn't get a lot of attention in the media and that we should give more attention to in order to make this world just an overall happier, better place. Last but definitely not least, number 15. Growing up is very scary and I am obviously very excited to grow up. I'm very excited to be an adult. I'm very excited to live my own life. I'm very excited to get out of this bubble I feel like I've been in for so long, but at the same time it's very scary and I'm starting to learn adulting and like responsibilities and consequences and like shit of being like almost an adult and like having to deal with a bunch of shit, and I'm not ready. I don't feel ready. When you're like 10 years old, you're like, I cannot wait to be like a big teenager and like or like an adult and like live my life and have freedom and whatever, but like there is not a lot of people who can be there to catch you when you fall or to like do things for you. That is just unrealistic, and when you get older you just gotta learn to just be independent and do your own thing and like be self-sufficient. But yeah, with all of that being said, in conclusion, this is pretty much all the things I've learned in the past 2.5 years of my life. Things I just wish I could have paid more attention to as a 15-year-old starting high school. Because when I was 15, I was only a few months into high school and I was so oblivious and so dumb to so many things, and I thought I knew everything. I thought I was like so knowledgeable, but no bitch, you are learning every single day. Life again hits you with challenges and hits you with these tests just to help yourself grow, and I'm always taking negative situations into a learning opportunity, and that is such like a old person thing to say, but like it's very true and also helps me kind of get through it. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video, and again, I know it was really cliche, but like I said, cliche quotes are cliche for a reason. I hope you guys kind of took something from this, and if you knew all these things already and you're younger than me, good for you, but your girl is on a long journey, a lot more to learn. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please leave a comment down below. I always reply to my comments, especially because I don't get a ton of comments, and so I have the time and I have the energy to just give people a reply. If you like my videos, please hit the subscribe button and turn on my notifications by clicking on the notification bell, and you will get notified every single time I upload a video. Honestly, like ever since I started dating my boyfriend Matt, I've just learned so many more things, and I feel like he's just taught me so many things. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!